I always say birding is for everyone, even you. Nature is for everyone, even you. Go get you some of that joy. Go get you some of that. It is literally waiting for you, and it's freaking free. I always say it's free as me. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what are we doing here? Yeah. You know what I mean? What are we doing here? So I encourage you, wherever you are, like, it don't got to even be like going to a national park or anything fancy. Take a walk around your neighborhood and pay attention. Leave your phone at home and just start doing that. I even do that. And I love taking pictures and stuff, but I walk my dog in the morning. We do about 2 miles and I don't bring my phone. And I start my day activating my conscious mind, paying attention, breathing, connecting. And that's just in the neighborhood, right? So or just go to your local park. You got kids, take them. Let them be kids. Let them run. Let them scream. Let them explore. Give them some agency over that experience. And then widen the net a little bit. Explore some of these wetlands and nature conservancies that are around us. I say, especially here in Dane County in the Madison area, we are very lucky. I don't think people realize how much beauty is around us. Do that, man. Literally go get yourself some joy. And it's crazy when we start to pay attention. There's a lot of soul searching that happens out there, bro. That's where my healing started happening.
Shit, I'm about to go wait in this place when you dropping the bass in. The beat inside the streets of awaken. I'm making to break my foot off of somebody's ass. I'm waiting for someone to say my name so I can annihilate them. Okay, then everyone was screaming the rape when I was kicking at the gate till it caved in. Belly scraping by, but now I'm paid. Look at the paper I breaked and I'm caking like Jay-Z and Drake. And I hate when people say that I ain't killing shit. The game is my playpen. I punch you in the face and end up breaking your break bands. I'm far from Hollywood. I'm posted up at the days in. Even though the industry say I'm the latest sensation. Drop the smoke at the award show. They're coming complacent. Mama saw me on TV with just a bum in the basement. You a Captain Saber, ho. You just be tucking the cake in.
What's up, everybody? You Control You podcast. You know how we do. Start every episode off with what we're grateful for. Again, as always, grateful for God, grateful for family, grateful for health. Everybody seems to be getting sick right now. So, more specifically, grateful for people choosing to put their goals and their dreams and somewhat being selfish over just going to hang out. I had a lot of fighters this weekend that could have easily, it being a holiday weekend, could have had a reason to go hang out with family and do their thing. And it would have been understandable, but instead they chose to put in the work, continue sacrificing, and continue to do whatever they can to be their greatest version when they get into that ring or that cage. So very, very grateful for that. And next to me, I got Dexter Patterson. What are you grateful for, sir?
Man, grateful for another Monday.
Ooh, wait.
It's funny because my wife was like, I hate Mondays. I was like, you know what? I said there was a time where I didn't care if I even made it to another Monday. So grateful for another Monday. Grateful for the family, being able to spend some time with them over the weekend. They go fast. The weekends go fast, but I am grateful for another Monday, man.
That's what's up. So Dexter and I we're old. So I say that because there's going to be a whole group of people that don't understand what I'm about to say. I met Dexter via MySpace. So there's going to be an entire generation that doesn't know what I'm talking about right now. So the way I met Dexter is I was doing this event in this small town called Richland Center. And I was looking for acts to bring out. And I was bringing out a dance crew from Chicago, and I was talking with other people. And I was going to school at MMI. So I had a couple people from there. And I was looking for hip hop acts in Madison. And the Lost Souls were one of those acts. And that's where Dexter and I linked up and asked them to come out and do it. And history was made, and we went forth. And then I moved to Madison and we started working together, became business partners and management and artists. And now Dexter is like moved on, not fully from music, but he's got an entire smorgasbord of things going on in his life right now. So I just wanted to give a little background on how Dexter and I first met and our crazy journey. So could you tell us a little bit about everything that you're doing right now?
A lot. So people always like, dude, how do you doing so much? And I'm like, you know what? I used to do more. And a lot of that stuff, almost said something else, was stuff I really didn't want to do. So at this point in my life, I'm actually finally doing what I want to do. So I'm leading my birding club, the BIPOC Birding Club of Wisconsin. And our mission is to get more Black and brown people and indigenous folks outside enjoying nature. And that arm wrap is birds. Yes, birds, folks. So that's a big part of my life, and is running that club. I'm also full-time faculty at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where I teach science communication. So a lot of people are like, dang, from hip-hop artist to science communication professor and birds. And I'm like, yeah. But it's funny because before we went live and before we started recording, I was telling you how I flipped the script on my life. And he was like, what do you mean? And it was more of, I think, and this I think that a lot of people may be able to relate to this, especially in the hip hop world. People living in, in the hood, underrepresented, people living in urban communities where like we're always trying to like prove ourselves to people, or we're always seeking approval from people that really don't matter. Like that's what's crazy is like for so many years I was worried about pleasing this person or impressing this person, and like as I gotten older, I ain't old. I don't know what you were talking about. As I've gotten older, I started to realize that those people didn't matter, and it wasn't selfishness. It was more, in my mind, it was like enlightenment, and really like learning about who I am as a person. And like, there's no better feeling in life, bro, when you like literally get fully comfortable in your own skin, right? Where like, I don't care that people like know that I nerd out about birds. Like they're amazing to me. And I wish I would have embraced it earlier. Like the homie from Outkast, like Big Boy, Big Boy got his aisles. He making hootie hoo movies and all this. And I'm like, man, when I was touring the country and doing all this amazing stuff, what if I did tell people I love birds? What if I did tell them to go outside and breathe fresh air, to get away, man? Like, the fast life ain't the best life. You know what I mean? And I live faster than most. And that's what I'm grateful for. When I say I'm grateful for a Monday, bro, I'm grateful I survived all that craziness. You know what I mean? And like when I was living like I didn't love myself because I didn't, and that's what I'm really, really grateful for, is just living in my own purpose. Yes, I'm busy, but I'm doing what I want to do. And it's like when you start to do that, and I'm not the person that believes that when you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. That is BS. People say that you work harder, right? But you're fulfilled.
Yes.
It's a big difference where it's like, man, I bust my ass. I work super hard. But at the end of the day, you're like, yep, this is what I'm meant to do.
Exactly.
And you're happy. So yeah, I'm busy doing all those things. But man, the opportunities, the fulfillment, life has never been better. I'm healing now. You know what I mean? Like that really helps too, is like, bro, like living a hip hop life and stuff, like it's like sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yes.
That's like a real thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of that, bro, is a lot of people are hurt. A lot of people are traumatized. A lot of people, are seeking other ways to, whether it's numbing reality, numbing themselves. And I was a victim of that for a long time. And, I'm sober. I don't, like my whole view of life has changed. And that's what I meant by flip the script, man. It's just like walk in your purpose, do what you know you're supposed to do. And I promise you'll live the life that you deserve.
Man, that sounds amazing. Whenever I tell people all the time, because at my gym, I get a lot of people that work at like Epic or work all these very stressful jobs that they don't necessarily want to do. And I'm like, why don't you do something that you love? Because if you work a job that you love, the days you don't like it, you'll still be able to show up and be your best because you love it. It's like a marriage. It's like you love your spouse, but you don't always like your spouse. You may not like the person. And it goes like that with your family. It's like you love this person, but there's days where it's like, now you're annoying me right now. So it's like, your job is going to be like that. Yes. So it's like, that's beautiful to hear. Now, how long, wait a minute. Now I'm curious because I've known you a very long time. I agree. I wish you would have said something about birds. Birds aren't necessarily my thing, but I love learning about things that aren't my thing. So when did you know you really like birds like this?
Bro, since I was a kid, like I always tell people, like I've always liked birds, but I never gave them the attention they deserved.
Oh,
right. So like my grandpa, he was a birder on my mom's side. And he gave me the best advice ever that I can remember. And he used to tell his kids this is just pay attention. Just listen. So he had 11 kids, bro. So he would take his kids to state parks and things like that for recreation. And he would have his kids, he would say, close your eyes. What do you hear? Just listen. Just pay attention. And that's still to this day the best advice I've ever gotten when it comes to just life in general. I tell my students that all the time. It's amazing what we see when we start to actually pay attention, right? Picking our heads up, right? From our phones and different things. Like I'm the media guy. They call me Digital Dex, right? I teach media, but like I need to decompress. And for me, getting out in nature, being present, being mindful about what's around you, that actually activates your conscious mind too. When you're actually paying attention, what do you feel? How do you feel? What do you see? What do you smell? What can you touch? What can you see? Like when you do that on a regular basis, you start to live in the moment. Right? You don't live in the past. You don't live in the future. Guess what that does? Brings down anxiety, brings down stress, brings down all it lowers cortisol levels, increases dopamines, makes you happy. Right? So that was the thing. When I started to pay attention is when I started to really realize how much I loved them. And it wasn't until I'd say 2010 when I decided, and this is before feel good music. This is when we were doing some big stuff. I went back to school at Madison College. And this is like, in this moment, when I went into my academic advisor's office, black guy had birds up on the wall. And I was like, you like birds? He was like, yeah. He's like, and I took those pictures. And I was like, whoa, right? When you grow up on Ally, when you grow up in some of the areas that I lived in this area, and before even getting to Madison, there aren't a lot of green spaces. There isn't a lot of nature and stuff. So when you lack green spaces, guess what you lack? Birds, nature, all these things. It's called green lining, very similar to red lining, where they kind of keep us in these urban, in these areas that limit us from these natural areas and different things like that. But when I remember that day, I felt seen. I was like, wait a minute, this dude, he's my advisor. And he likes birds. And not only does he like birds, he takes pictures. I've always been a photographer too. So like I've always been good with the camera and stuff. And that day I was like, okay, I can start leaning into this a little more. So from that day forward, I was going out, I was studying birds, I was learning about birds. And it was kind of keeping it to myself, but I was growing this knowledge, and I realized I had a gift that I could remember their calls and behaviors and all these things. And like, I was like, wow, dude, like you're kind of good at this stuff. Then I started taking pictures of them, and I wasn't sharing it with the world necessarily or anybody. But that's when it kind of started. So it's been over the last 10, 15 years, bro. I just kind of been, really kind of trying to force myself to be more present, to be outside. And life has, incrementally got better, like when people think about that, 2010, went back to school, got that associate's degree. Then I transferred to UW, got that degree. Then I went to grad school at Purdue. That was all within like 7 years. And I was still touring. I was still doing all these things. But that's when my transition was happening, when I started to see the world differently. I mean, also got married and had kids and stuff. I started thinking about, it's funny when you have a kid, you start to realize life is not about me. Yeah. Right. Like, and for me, I would say, like, for me, that was a rude awakening, because for me, the world revolved around me. I was this, I was like, I was Couldn't nobody tell me shit, and I think life got better too when I realized that isn't Dexter, right? That was the person that Dexter was trying to please, this person and this person and this person. It led to some bad habits and views on the world, and I'm happy that I was able to break that cycle.
Well, you just said a whole lot, man. Okay. When did you decide that, okay, I'm no longer going to hide who I am. I'm going to unleash it now. And not even unleash it to the world, because as you know, and as you've already stated, as you get older, as you become more comfortable with yourself, it's not about letting the world know who you are. It's really being able to look in the mirror and let yourself know who you are.
Yes.
When was that transition?
It's weird. It was during COVID.
Oh man, COVID really changed a lot.
Like, and what it was, bro, was like, it was really hard on so many people, right? And I saw so many people struggling. I was doing okay. And what I realized is why I was doing okay is because I was outside. I was hiking. I was listening to birds. I was listening to water running. I was getting vitamin D. I was getting sunshine. And I was like, whoa, right? And that's where I kind of came up with this phrase, bird joy. Because I'd be out there, bro, and I'll see something for the first time, and it would just light me up. And it's called a lifer, the first time you see a new bird. And as an educator, as like this lifelong learner, I think this is something you can respect. Like, the thing I love most about birds is I'm always learning. I'll never know anything. Like, I get called they call me an expert, right? Like, I get called an expert in all these different forums, and I'm like, I don't like that, though, because you could drop me in South America, I wouldn't know nothing.
Yep.
You could take me to Africa, I wouldn't know nothing. You could take me to Arizona, California, I won't know nothing, right? So, like, to me, like, that is exciting because, like, for the rest of my life, as we get old, we ain't old, I got something to look forward to.
Yeah.
New memories, learning new things, and that is, to me, that's exciting. Right. Like, that is so exciting to me. So really looking forward to that. But like, as I was out, bro, and I'm reading stories and I'm seeing all the chaos that's happening, all the division and people infighting and this and that. And I was like, man, I just had a fantastic hike. I feel great, and I was like, I probably should share this with more people. And that was kind of the moment where I said, all right, Dex, instead of keeping this to yourself, what if you use your skills and your talent on social media to start educating people about birds and their habitats and all these beautiful natural areas around us as everybody's locked down, right? Let's be a part of the solution. Like, show people, like, this is how I'm getting through. Maybe you don't care about birds, right? Maybe birds ain't your thing, but you like flowers. You like plants. You like trees. You like deer. You like whatever. Butterflies, and I was like, you know what? Let's go. So I just started, like, I would go out and I started testing different things. I'd be going out, bro. I'll put on like a hip hop beat and I'll just be like dancing through the woods and stuff, you know what I'm saying, with shades on. And I was like, I said, if I'm going to do this, I got to be me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I was like, this is a part of me. So I was doing that. And then all of a sudden I was like, these lifers, and I'm learning about birds. I was like, ooh, what if I took people on these adventures with me? What if I say, who wants to help me find this bird? You ready? Let's go. Right? It's the let's go that gets
Yeah.
Because I was like, there are all these people on lockdown, bro. And I would get all these messages. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm unable to get out. I'm bedbound. I can't move like I used to. Our park is closed, or, all these different things. And I'm like, holy cow. Like, this is really kind of making an impact. So I started saying, thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me. And it was like bringing these people in, like they're literally with me. And that was the spark, bro, where I was like, all right, this is it. Like, I'm going to embrace this. I'm going to let that bird nerd flag fly, and be the flyest birder in the world. Man, like, that was kind of like the moment where I was like, I got something here. Since then, millions and millions of views on these videos, bro. And it's just like, the opportunities that has led to the impact, the relationships, bro. I've met so many amazing people in nature. Like I said, I like meeting people in the wild. It's like the best thing ever. To, creating a relationship like we did on MySpace, but actually meeting in person, there's nothing like that. Right. And like that. So that's where I was like, this is it, Dex. Like, this is how you can, fully embrace who you are, as a man, as an educator. And the rest has kind of been history, and there's a lot of history still to be made.
That's amazing. I think usually my viewpoint when it comes to mastering something or being an expert is we're always curious. Always curious. Like the way you describe birds, the way you get excited, like I recognize it because it's the way I get with working with people at my gym. It's like somebody new comes in and it's like, ooh, this is, I'm curious about them. I'm going to learn something new about them. And it's like, I'm hearing that. And I think people don't realize sometimes when someone's an expert or a master, they're the most curious people in the world. They want to learn so much more. Yeah. The learning never stops. And that's the enjoyment of it. And hearing you talk about birds, I've never heard you sound so, for lack of a better word, passionate for something outside of your girls. Not music, not anything else. This is the most passion that I've heard. Not even the Packers. Nope.
What's wild? I don't even watch them no more. Like, it's like I barely watch them. I ain't go to no games. Like, I barely shot any Badger games this year. Like, it just like completely my brain feels and wants different.
Yeah.
Like
I feel you.
It sees the world different.
I feel you on that. Yeah. No, I love hearing that because there's so many people that don't take control of themselves. Hence the you control you. It's like you're not taking control of your own life. You're not even willing to take a chance to find what you're passionate about. And usually it's right there in front of them. It's like you just got to be honest with yourself and just say, and you stated this is like, what's my purpose? And I'm a firm believer that our purpose is always to help others. Number one, how you do that is different for everyone. And the fact that you took something that you truly loved and you were willing to just say, you know what? I'm not hiding anymore. Yeah. I'm not hiding who I am. I'm not going to shell up anymore. This is what it is. And now utilizing that to help so many others connect with nature. And even I'll go a step beyond, even beyond nature, connect with themselves. Yes. Connect with themselves in a big way, whether they're your student or whether they're just someone that just happened to find you on YouTube or social media. Brother, that's amazing. Like that alone is outstanding. So like kudos to you because not enough people spend time knowing what they love and sharing it with the world to help. And if more people did that, I think we would be better off together as a society. Yeah. But like kudos to you, sir. That's amazing.
Appreciate you.
Now, that's a big transition. Now, again, I consider us family. I've known you a very long time, sir. And I'm thinking about the process. You completely changed your life while being married, while having girls, like four, like
yeah, 4 of them,
like bro, like, I have one daughter. I can't even imagine. So it's like, how was this transition for you at home? Because I know when I stopped doing music and went to the gym, that was and bought a gym, that was that's an overhaul. That's not college. That you started going to college, doing less and less music, birding. What was that transition like at home? And what were some of the either challenges or lessons? It depends on how you word that.
No, I think that's a great question. I started bringing them with me. And the cool thing about it is not bringing them with me and forcing them to look at birds and giving them some agency over the experience. So there are a lot of cool tools you can use, like apps that can ID bird sounds and different things, right? So I'd give them the phone and let them use the Merlin Bird ID app is what it's called. And it has this sound ID function. You can hit record and just hold it up in the air and it'll tell you what the birds you're hearing are, which is fantastic, right? So like the kids would be like, Dad, I ain't never seen this one before. This is a blue bird. What's one? It's not a blue jay though. What is that? And I say, it's probably an indigo bunting. They're like, you're right. And they're like, now go find it. Do your thing. You know, where you do that thing where you say, let's go, like do it. And I would do it with them, right? But then they also have this other app called Seek. And what Seek is, it allows you to take pictures of plants and flowers and trees and different things and to tell you what it is. So I let them use that, right? So, you know, they can look and like, oh, that's a beautiful flower. I wonder what it is. And then I'm like, Dad, I just found trillium. Or Dad, look, that's poison ivy. Leaves a 3, leave it be, right? So they're like learning all this stuff. Oh, look at that big old tree. Can I go climb it? Yes. Yes, you can, right? Can we go fishing after this? Yes, you can, right? So giving them some agency. So when they're like, oh, Dad's going birding, I want to go too. Because they start to associate birding with just being outside. Yeah. And being able to be a kid, you know? So for me, it was amazing because it gave me more time with my girls, more time not distracted by just stuff, right? More memories. Like as we get older, the memories are what matter. Yes. Right? Those experiences are what we really kind of hold on to and cherish. So like it made me more present with my kids. It made me less angry. It made me less like busy with stuff that didn't necessarily matter. Yes. Right. So I look at it as it was a blessing all around because they got a better version of Dad and they got better quality time with Dad.
That's what's up. That, man, that's incredible. That's incredible. So your passion really, this is how dope this is. You've just basically broken down on how you being honest with who you are to yourself, following what you're passionate about, utilizing it to help others, brought you closer to your family.
It did.
Like those 3 pillars that most people will never, ever develop on their own. You've taken the time to do that, and it brought you the greatest joy in the world, which is just being closer to your loved ones and creating, as you said, memories and these great times. That's commendable,
my babies have held falcons.
That's dope.
And birds and released them into the wild and like done things that they'll never forget. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so, but they also see how happy their dad is.
That's big.
That is something, you know, that people I think take for granted. Like when I come home, I'm not like, I'm tired. No, I'm like, what's going on? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, how was your day? Like, that's our thing. And how was your day? How was your day? Did you see any new birds, Dad? You know, like they'll ask me that kind of stuff. When they see me get my gear and I'm going out, like they literally know Dad's going to find joy. Right. And when Dad goes and finds his joy and he comes back, guess who's oozing that out to everybody else around them? You know, community benefits, the family benefits, everybody benefits.
See, that's something that I've had a few guys on now, and we've been talking about how our childhood was different, especially in regards to the male figures in our life. So one of the common themes that whether there was abuse or not abuse or whatever the case, whether he was a good father or not present father, the one thing that seems to be constant is not hearing I love you, not hearing certain things, not seeing that joy, not receiving that joy, and how hard it is to figure that out. Like, we want to do something different with our kids. We want to share love. We want to let them know. But didn't learn it from a man. No. So you're learning it yourself. And so it's like, how hard was that? Learning it on your own and then being able to deliver, because moms are great. Moms give love. It's not the same though. It's not the same as having a male figure tell you that they love you, show you how to be a quote unquote man and conduct yourself a certain way. So how hard was that transition for you to learn to how to conduct yourself as a father, as a man?
Super hard. Cause a lot of my issues, a lot of the healing that I've been doing over the last 2 decades, but really intentional over the last 10 years is breaking the cycle of men don't cry, men don't show emotion, suck it up, pull yourself up by the bootstraps and all. Like, it's all bullshit. Like it's toxic. Right. And growing up with all that toxic masculinity and telling you this is what a man is and this is what a man ain't, but not having anybody to model what a man really is or should be, that's hard for anybody. So it was frustrating for me because I was filled with so much anger. I didn't have the answers. And when you don't have that clear focus on what that's supposed to be, you don't have any control, and that can be hard, you know what I mean? And not knowing where to go. So it was been such a learning process, to where it's just thankful that I am a lifelong learner and I do want to get better and I do want to learn, but it took me a long time to humble myself to be able to say, dude, you're not doing a good job here. You're not being a good father right now. You're not being a good person right now. You need to be better. And that was hard, right? Man, I don't care what anybody says. In hip hop, you got to have an ego, a huge ego, you know, especially and I don't know why it's that, but it's just true. Yeah. It's just kind of true. It took me a long time to shake that off. It took me a long time. Also was sports star in high school. It took me a long time to shake that off. Right. Because you get treated better and differently and exceptions are made and, that stunts your growth. Yeah. Right. It stunts your growth. So I think for me, humbling myself and really kind of, we were chatting earlier when you look in the mirror and checking yourself and be like, dog, this ain't it. Right. That was hard for me. But when I started to do that, bro, my heart started to open up and I started being able to pour into my kids in a way that I know that most real men do. And I was like, real men love their families. Yes. They provide, they give their kids what they want. So that was it for me, is just really kind of humbling myself, being willing to say, dude, you're wrong. Learning how to say, I'm sorry. Learning how to say, I'm sorry, I'm a work in progress. I'm working on this. Yeah. And I promise I won't yell at you again. I promise I won't do this. I promise I won't do that. And that was it. That's when I started to grow as a man.
That's huge. That's huge right there. That's huge across the board. First of all, acknowledging the ego. And it's funny because I think whenever you do something that requires you to go in front of people, usually ego plays a part. And I think I tell this to my fighters all the time. I'm like, the ego is the last little sprinkle. If you're about to go fight and everything is based off the ego, you're going to lose. You're going to lose bad because you
focus off.
The focus is off. You're not giving respect to the other person. It's there should be a beautiful line of fear right there helping you walk into this cage or this ring, and the confidence because you train so hard. Or a rapper, you practice, you rehearsed, you know your lines. And then the last little bit to conquer that fear is that ego. And what happens is when you start seeing too much success, it gets flipped where it's so much ego and just a little confidence. And it's like, then you don't know what to do with it. And it's like, and you can't hear nothing.
Like
so it's like,
guy.
yeah, it's like that. Like, and it's funny because like, I can't speak on women. I'm not a woman. I know it from a man's point of view. Like that's a dangerous place to be when you're just living in your ego, because it's like it's darkness. It's like you can't even recognize who you are anymore. And it's like, so that's beautiful that you talked about shedding that, and definitely being able to apologize as a man. I love hearing the fact that apologizing to your kids, apologizing, like that's one thing that I know when it comes to even my own daughter. It was like when she was in high school, especially, it was like, look, Dad wild out. My bad. I shouldn't have overreacted. I shouldn't have reacted this way. No, it's okay, Dad. No, it's not, because I don't want another man to talk to you like this. I don't want another man to raise his voice at you. This is my fault. I shouldn't have done this. It was okay for me to be upset, but not okay for me to raise my voice. Yeah, like there was no reason for me to do this. And it was like it's a beautiful thing, because hearing you talk about that, like you're setting them up for success whenever they pick the man in their life. Because like, let's not front. Our daughters are going to pick the type of guy based on their dad, what they're getting. And so it's like, that's so dope to hear, man. Like
my mom always says we teach people how to treat us.
See, Mom Dukes is super smart. Mom Dukes is so smart.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I can break the cycle with these ones.
There you go.
And improve myself along the way.
Man, hell yeah. Bro, like, I've never heard you sound so peaceful. This is, like, it's different being around you, right?
I'm
like,
different.
like it's so dope. Like, so your sisters told me, like, he's changed. Like, he's so different.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's resonating off of you. It's like, that's a beautiful thing to be around someone, and it's like they truly just love life. That's beautiful, man. So, what is, before, because you dropped some news that I didn't even know about. Like, so we're gonna definitely dive into that. Me and your nephew are gonna read the book and enjoy that together, because he's not fond of reading, so this will be a good thing that
Lots
we can read
of pictures
together.
in it. You know?
Well, the weird thing is, though, well, not weird, but he enjoys going outside. He enjoys the birds. Like he's already like, Dad, I want to get a camera. And I'm like, okay, let's pick out a camera. And like, I'm guessing, because he's talked about it so much, that's from his Uncle Dexter. Like he enjoys that. And like, so what's next for birding? So you're enjoying going outside, you're sharing this with people, you're on social media. Where are you going with this?
I mean, so like you mentioned the book. So writing that book, and I will tell people, like, I've been writing this. It took me 2 years to do it, and I ain't broadcasted to the world. That was another thing I've learned is don't tell, just do. Because when you start telling everyone, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, you invite so much negative energy into your space, and I've had enough of that. So the book is a big one.
What's the name?
It's called The Little Great Book of Birds, and this is the best birds of the Great Lakes. And it's available for pre-order all over. It was trending on Amazon, #1 in the birds category, #1 in ornithology, #1 in bird watching, #1 in tour guides. Like it was kind of mind blowing, because I was like, I didn't expect that. But then all of a sudden it was all these people like, I did. I'm not shocked. Right. And that was humbling too. But that's opened up a lot of doors, bro. Going to be doing a ton of traveling. I was just last weekend, I was in Fayette, Iowa. I led a seminar on bird joy for their wildlife conservation students, which was fantastic. I got to go salamander hunting and hold baby goats, bro. I was in heaven. I was in heaven, bro. Shout out to Big Bertha. She was 2 weeks old. They call her Big Bertha because she's the biggest of the goats, of the baby goats, bro. I'm seeing. She got me in a chokehold, bro. I'm still thinking about Bertha. She put her little head on my shoulder, bro, and she closed her eyes. I literally melted. Like I'm spitting for Bertha right now. So shout out to them. I'm doing that. First weekend in May, I'm in Chicago, partnering up with the homies with the Chicago BIPOC birders, as well as the Boys and Girls Club of Lake Forest. So I'm really excited to go to Chicago and be able to do that. And the homies from Drippin' Culture out of Waukegan, which is a Black-owned coffee company. They're the way they operate their business is beautiful. And then after that, I'm hitting the road and I'm going to the biggest week in birding festival, which is the largest birding festival in the country. And I'm one of their keynote speakers. So I'll be gracing the stage at the biggest week in birding. And then after that, I'm going to like the second largest birding festival, which is the Indiana Dunes Birding Festival. And I'll be giving a keynote there. The end of the month, we're celebrating Black Birders Week, and I'm flying out to Philadelphia at the Academy of Natural Sciences to give another keynote there. So May, I'm literally traversing the country to share bird joy. Recently just teamed up with a couple folks, Jasmine Banks from Operation Fresh Start, as well as Christopher Kilgore, Color in the Outdoors. And we've been leading BIPOC only hikes. So if people don't know what BIPOC means, it's Black, Indigenous, and people of color. So we've been leading monthly hikes for only Black and brown people in the community. We don't publicly like announce them or anything. We got our own private chat and things like that. But the last event we had, bro, we had 40 Black and brown people show up. Many of them, I say probably 30 of them had never been hiking before.
Whoa.
And we had 40 of them, just Black and brown babies. And it was beautiful. I had Black folks hugging trees and bro, like when I tell people, just look at the images, that's the next step, is to continue creating these spaces, continue, spreading the bird joy, whether it's via books, whether it's on a stage or social media, whatever it might be, like just to continue to show our people that this is for you. I always say birding is for everyone, even you. Nature is for everyone, even you. Like, go get you some of that joy, right? Like, go get you some of that. It is literally waiting for you, and it's freaking free. Right, like it's like I always say, it's free as me. You know, what I'm saying? So what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? So, like, I encourage you wherever you are. Like, it don't gotta even be like going to a national park or anything fancy. Take a walk around your neighborhood and pay attention. Leave your phone at home and just start doing that. Right, like I even do that, and I love taking pictures and stuff. But like, I walk my dog in the morning. We do about 2 miles, and I don't bring my phone. And I start my day activating my conscious mind, paying attention, breathing, connecting. And that's just in the neighborhood, right? So or just go to your local park. You got kids, take them. Let them be kids. Let them run. Let them scream. Let them explore. Give them some agency over that experience. And then widen the net a little bit. Explore some of these wetlands and nature conservancies that are around us. I mean, I say, especially here in Dane County in the Madison area, we are very lucky. I don't think people realize how much beauty is around us. So do that, man. Like, literally go get yourself some joy. And it's crazy, when we start to pay attention. There's a lot of soul searching that happens out there, bro. Like, that's where my healing started happening. When you're out in nature by yourself, right? And you're with your own thoughts. Like, and you start really reflecting on like how you're living, how you lived, where you want to go. Like, bro, some of my best ideas, my plans, like I don't set goals anymore. I feel like goals are unnecessary because it's typically the habits that get you to the goals you want.
Your discipline.
So when you create a new habit or you break a bad habit, you're going to accomplish way more than saying, all right, I'm going to set a goal to do this. Go, well, once that goal is accomplished, now what? Right. So I am now a habit oriented person, not a goal oriented person. I was a very much a checklist guy for very, very many years. The years you knew me, I was a check. Oh, did this. Oh, I'm doing that. And I was miserable. Right. So when I started thinking about why am I not fulfilled? Why am I not happy? It was the bad habits. It was the, and really recognizing those patterns and those habits and changing those allow you to accomplish way more than one goal at a time. So that's kind of what I would say is just like, make some time to be in your thoughts, make some time to be more present, be more mindful into how you're living a life, how you want to live your life. And I promise you it'll get better.
Bro, I'm sure you see this. Like this is the cool thing. I'm sure you see it with people that are outside. I see it with people in the gym. People are really scared to sit in their own mind. I thought
it's scary.
At
first it is.
I'm weird. I'm so used to it.
But at first it's hard. It's like, that's where the humbling came in, where I was like, oh, you messed up. And that's scary. That is scary.
I couldn't believe it. Sometimes, so it's really easy for me to look at someone and say, okay, if I work them past their breaking point, I'll get them to where I need them to be. But with some people, I've learned if I just have them stand there in silence, that's a harder thing for them to do than to work out. And I'm like, yo, just really? And the more I learned that, the more I was like, oh man, people really do struggle being in their own head. And it's like,
it's a thing.
It's like,
it is.
It's like they're afraid to talk to themselves. Like I'm so crazy with it. Like, this is all my kids know is that dad talks to himself often. Dad just has full-blown conversations with himself. And usually, and I tell people now, and this is where I had to like be open with myself, it's usually me talking to my ego. And like, yo, hey, you're bugging. Or look, I got it. Let me drive the car. Like chill over there. Like chill. And so it's like, and it's so beautiful to hear you talk about this, man, because for you, for me, it's in water. It's not, nature is cool. If I'm in water in nature, I'm good. Anytime I'm in water, I have the best conversation with God, with myself. Is like, it's dope. And you discovered it's just being outside for you. And so
I own a kayak too.
Oh man. So
I
you
be
just
out on the lake by myself looking at birds in my kayak. It's crazy.
You know what?
We do birding by boat events and get people on the water.
This is insane. Okay, Dexter. I'm curious now. First of all, I'm too. The times of me being in the kayak are done. I'm not. I'm like, I ain't getting in the kayak. A boat is cool. Okay, so you done. So yeah, you just. I have two questions for you, and they're different, so I'll give you the first one. What do you tell somebody that has maybe they don't think they have access to the outside? Like I work with, I see the difference because the kids I mentor that are in the juvie system, they're put on a farm. They're proud of the tomatoes they grow. They're proud of it. But what about the kids, or what about the parents that don't think they have access to this, to them, to outside? What would you tell them?
Access is something that we're fighting on a regular basis. So this year we launched a birding backpack program that has binoculars and field guides and a guide to areas around their community centers. And all the community centers and the orgs that we're working with serve underrepresented groups. They have to have free lunch. They're serving our kids, our people that look like our children. So giving them those birding backpack programs, but also recently just launched a Bus to Nature program. which we are giving out $500 scholarships to these schools and these community centers, and we're paying for the transportation to get their kids to these spaces because they don't have the access, right? And now that has always been a common theme, whether I'm talking to a program manager or a parent, that maybe that place, I would love to go there, but it's off the bus line. Right. So removing the barriers is a big thing when you talk about where's birding going next for us at the BIPOC Birding Club. Is we are trying to give as much access to people as possible, and getting these kids, especially in the summer when they don't got nothing to do, getting these kids, paying for them to get to these parks, and then giving them binoculars, giving them things that they can explore about plants and different things, allowing them to run and be free, and have people that look like them, bro, leading them. That's when you change it, right? Because if you can see it, you can be it. Now you can do it, right? So that is a big thing. That's how we change access, is let them see people that look like them, leading them and taking them and making them feel safe in these outdoor spaces. And it changes the way that they think about it. They start to believe, yes, I belong here, right? Our roots are in nature. Like we literally, when they brought us to this country, they brought us here because we were the best farmers. We knew how to grow the best crops. You know, when I think about my ancestors and things, they lived on sharecropped land. When I think about people like Harriet Tubman, when she was freeing slaves, bro, she listened to the sound of the barred owl. And she would imitate the barred owl sounds to let people know that the path away was free, that it was safe, right? So like we've always been naturalists. We've always been connected to the land, and over generations we started to lose that. 50 years ago, Black people owned over 14% of private land in this country. We're at 1.4% now. So the access is a problem. Right. Us believing that, you know, we were talking about our goals to own land and just be living in peace before we get right. Like we've lost that. Right. We've lost that because they forced us out. And there were some real conversations to be had around safety. Right. And access and lynching. And there's a lot of reasons why Black folks are like, I don't go in the woods. There's wolves in there. There's coyotes and bears and oh my, you know. So like that's real. But like I said, the last underground hiking collective walk we did, we had 40 Black and brown people out there together. Right. And it was so beautiful to see the kids and like I have this green pointer, like a green laser pointer, because like I can see them. And if you're not a birder, you may be like, what are you looking at, Dexter? I have no clue what you're looking at. And I can point it at it. And little homie was like, can I use your pointer? Bruh, here. I gave it to him. I was like, all right, now you're going to have to be my helper. Right? I'm going to need you. Can you be a leader? Can you help me lead these other people? And I'd be like, you see it right there. It's moving. Can you get the pointer on there for everybody else? The smiling little Black boy face, right? And immediately it changes him. And he's like, this is for me. I feel comfortable. I feel seen. I feel important. Right? So that's the battle that we got to continue to have. We're seeing this administration attacking anything related to diversity and getting people outside and stuff. So I tell people, if you're serving Black and brown kids, let's talk. Let's collaborate, because the people that are collaborating are the ones that will win. And ultimately, our babies and our communities need us to come together to make sure that we continue to win.
Where can people go to either donate, be a part of it, or sign up to go on some of these hikes? Where can they do that?
Yeah, so I'd say just go to our website, bipocbirdingclub.org. We host monthly events in Madison and Milwaukee, 12 months a year. So you're at least going to get 2 opportunities to get outside every month. And then in the spring and summer and in the fall, sometimes we have specialty events that are like citizen science related. I mentioned my baby's releasing falcons, and we'll do bird banding. We'll do all these different things. We'll do kestrel nest box monitoring, which is the smallest falcon in North America. We'll do bald eagle nest monitoring. We'll do songbird banding. We'll do owl banding. We'll do a lot of these citizen science things. We'll do a Christmas bird count. So we start to show people that there are all these things that matter, right? Like that you can contribute to your own community. And that's powerful for people when they realize they're a part of something bigger than themselves. So we're always updating our events on the website. So we always got something going on. I would say if we're connected and you're a Black or brown person and you want to be a part of some of those private hikes that we do, just shoot me a message, shoot me an email, and I just send out the date and the location, tell you where we're meeting, and you pop up and it's just us, bro. It's just literally just melanin in the woods, it's just beautiful.
I like the way you said that.
It's just beautiful, and fun fact about birds, melanin is what makes them beautiful. So the most colorful birds in the world, the way they get their colors and their bright colors comes from melanin. So
can you say that again?
Yeah. So
just drop that knowledge.
A lot of the brightest birds in the world, the brighter the colors and the bright colors that they have, the reason that is made possible is because those birds have more melanin than the other birds. So they are us.
Yeah.
They like us.
It's beautiful how everything's connected. Sir, you got me. I'm not going to front. The way you're describing, like you just said a whole bunch of stuff that in regards to birds that I'm like, it's like a foreign language, but you're so passionate about it that like, homie, I want to go learn about birds. Like you're just, oh man, I wonder if that's how people feel like when I'm talking about fighting. Cause I started talking about technique. It's crazy. Cause you were talking about different types of birds, like all this, it's just oozing out of you. And like, I mean that in the best way possible. That's amazing to see someone so hyped about what they truly love. Now, where are we gonna see Dexter in other countries chasing birds? Because like, look, it sounds like you took over the Midwest. It sounds like you got the Midwest going. And like, and cool, you probably hit up the East Coast and West Coast and go down south. But when you're going to go way down south, because I can't even imagine the birds. Like there's one guy I follow that I talked to, the real Tarzan. And this dude is always going out messing with snakes and gators. And I'm like, bruh, you're on a whole nother level. And so when are we going to see Dexter out in Canada, South America, Mexico, Europe, Australia? Like,
bro, those things are already kind of being put in place. So I'm co-host of the Bird Joy podcast as well. So like we've been interviewing people from British Columbia, Black women that is leading up some amazing bird efforts up there in BC. Shout out to Melissa Hafting. I've interviewed the homies from Colombia and all these different places. And my dream bird is called the harpy eagle. And the harpy eagle is the size of a small person. The harpy eagle is so big, bro. It could snatch a monkey out of the tree and just fly. Right. And they live in Venezuela. They live in Ecuador and all these different places. So we're planning a trip to go to Brazil. I don't know if I'll get it in Brazil. It's possible. But there's a birding tour company that wants me to lead something for them. And I'm like, y'all want me to lead something for you? I ain't gonna know what I'm looking at. I said, but I will be excited. I will point at it and be giddy. Boy, I'll tell you, I will have the most fun in the world. But I ain't gonna have I'm gonna be holding up the Merlin app like I'm 5. Like, what's that? Did you see that one? So
you know what? I would pay just to see that,
bruh.
Like, to see that excitement on your face, like that's dope.
So yeah, those things are happening. Really, that's what it's kind of that's kind of what it's about. Continue to expand the horizon, continue to connect with people, continue to spread bird joy as far and wherever I can.
Man,
bro.
that's awesome, man.
People want to make those things happen. You happen to know where the Harpy Eagle Nest is in Ecuador or something, please let me know, because the homie Jonathan, I got a homie that just moved down there. His family was from Madison. They just moved to Ecuador. I said, bro, when I come, I'm staying with y'all, and I'm going to look for the Harpy Eagle. So
let's go.
Yeah, it is, bro, that bird. I did an interview with Discover Wisconsin the other day, and I told them, I said, y'all know what? That bird looks fake. Like when you look up the Harpy Eagle, and I encourage people to do it, you can be like, that ain't real. Hey, I made that. This dude is lying to me. This dude is lying. No, like look at it and you will see why I must see this. I don't want to see it in the freaking zoo. I know it's in the San Diego Zoo. I was in San Diego for a conference and I did not go see it. I don't want to see it in the zoo. I want to see it in the wild. I don't care. No, I don't want to see it at a rehab place. Nope. I don't want to see it at the San Diego Zoo. I don't. I want to see that thing in the forest. I want to see it right there. I want to watch it snatch a monkey if I can. Bro.
I feel you. Bro. I feel you. It sounds super dope.
And when you look it up, you're going to be like,
it sounds like something that I might not want to run into.
Man,
it might,
they can't snatch me.
Well, I feel you,
and they know that. Like that,
they're not stupid. They're not stupid. Yeah, they hunt things that they hunt the things that they know. Yeah. Man, so it sounds like to me the way you're talking, Dexter Patterson's gonna have his own nature show.
I hope so. You know, it's funny because I got a homie, Jesse Raisler. He's a filmmaker and he's done some amazing documentaries, and we've been chatting about a TV show for a while now. He's working with Magnolia Network and PBS and a lot of these different things. Friend of mine, Christian Cooper, he won an Emmy Award. I just had him in Madison a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. He won an Emmy for Extraordinary Birder. And that was done by National Geographic. And he's a black man. He just traveled the world teaching people about birds.
Yeah.
So we had him in Wisconsin. He did Overture Center, and then he did Milwaukee Public Library a couple weeks ago. We took him up to Horicon Marsh, which is the largest freshwater cattail marsh in America. And it happens to be 35 minutes away from the east side of Madison. Right. Well, so these are some of the places where I tell people you really don't know what's around you. And when you start to explore, when you start to get access to some of these places, it changes you, man. Yeah. When you see what's possible. I call it opening up windows to wonder. Yeah. Because you open up one and then you open another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And that's what keeps that passion flowing, because those windows keep opening.
Yeah. No, that's super dope. Like the nature is why I want to move the gym out on some land, because we got a marsh that's right by our gym. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, how could I ever be upset when I show up as the sun's coming up and I get to look at that? Like, it's beautiful. And then we might have a whole bunch of different birds. I don't know. But I know we have a family of sand cranes that always shows up and they love beating on my window. It's like they just come up there and start beating on the window. It's like, oh, okay.
That's the male bird seeing his reflection.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I feel like that's what we assume, but it's fun.
Like, bro, what you doing?
And every year they have, or every couple of years they have some new babies that you see them walking. Is like, we love that. We'll sit we'll sit out there and we'll watch them walk. But oh man, that's incredible. I didn't know about that. Wait, could you what's the name of that marsh again that you just mentioned? Or the land you were talking about?
Horicon Marsh.
Horicon Marsh. I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
that sounds dope.
It is beautiful. It's a historical landmark in our state. It's one of the few places you can see the endangered whooping crane, which is really cool, which is the most endangered crane species in the world. And they happen to nest there.
Why are they endangered?
Because
just hunting
or hunting. I mean, a lot of people don't know we almost lost the sandhill crane.
I only know that because they're by my gym, and like you can't touch them, you can't mess with them.
Not now, but now they've reintroduced legislation to hunt them again, and they're actually one of the best conservation stories. Period. Not just for our state, just the recovery of the sandhill crane in Wisconsin. I mean, spearheaded by Aldo Leopold. He basically said at one point, I think we were down to about 20 nesting pairs of these birds across our entire state. And he was basically, he created this conversation about land ethic. And he was like, we don't deserve these majestic creatures. If we're just shooting them, they call them the ribeye of the sky. People gave them this nickname because supposedly they're delicious, and people overhunted them. And by hunting them, they started shooting the whooping cranes, thinking they were sandhill cranes, right? And I always say, if we don't learn from history, we're bound to repeat it.
Exactly.
I am super anti crane hunt.
Yeah.
There's technology, there's science, there's a science communicator. There's a lot of things that have been developed to help the farmers, because the cranes will eat crops, and I get that side of the argument too, right? Like, that's your livelihood.
Yeah.
But they have things called Avapel where you can coat your seeds in this like coating that is completely safe for everybody, but the cranes, they don't like the taste and they won't eat your crops. So I would say let's embrace more of that before we start to think about wiping them out again.
Yeah. I heard I also this might be the only bird I actually know a little bit about, and when I say little, I mean very little, is that they also mate for life.
Yes.
It's like, so we seen one get hit by a car right by a gym. And like a lot of my students like really got sad because they're like, if that one's gone, like we're not gonna have any more babies. Luckily recovered, everything was good, but I was like, wow, made for life. So basically these two have just been bringing new life in. They walk around, they do whatever they got to do, and eventually the babies get old enough, they go away, and then you just see some new ones. That's super dope, man.
Yeah.
Horicon Marsh. I'm gonna have to remember that.
Yeah, super dope. They got an auto tour. It's accessible to anybody. And you'll never see it all. It's huge. Like, it's crazy how much you can go see, but I encourage anybody and everybody to do that. And you can stay in your car. Like I said, you can do the auto tour. You can walk this large boardwalk if you want, if you don't feel safe, but there are a lot of different ways for people to explore that place.
You know, a place that I'm sure you would love, and it's so like I would have never thought it was going to come out my mouth until I've been there, is Utah. Like, I seen, again, I don't know nothing about birds, but I've seen a lot of birds I've never seen before. Like chilling in the mountains. I was like, what is that? I have no idea what that is. And like, that was super dope. I'm sure someone like you that loves to be out there would love some Utah.
I got a bird homie in Utah. So yeah, I'm planning on trying to get out there.
Man, that's incredible. So I only got one more question for you. And I ask every single person that comes on this show. We've all had those moments, and you've talked about multiple moments in your life. Could you tell us, what was that moment where you were like, okay, I really need to take control of my life? What was your you control you moment where you were like, okay, this machine isn't operating right. I need to take control of it.
Yeah.
What was the catalyst for that, and how did you get through that?
I would say when I started looking in the mirror and having suicidal thoughts. When I started saying, like, what is my purpose here? Like, why am I here? And wishing I wasn't, and thinking of ways to make that happen. And that's when life got real. You know, that's when I was like, Dex, you got a problem. You got to deal with this problem. And that process is ongoing. But when you start to walk in your purpose, when you start to be proud of the work that you do, that helps you heal. And forgiving a lot of the people that I held a lot of anger towards in regards to a lot of the trauma and different things that I went through. That was a part of it, but that's rock bottom when you start to think about taking your own life, questioning your worth, questioning whether or not you even should be here. So for me, that was it. But then being willing to tell people I feel like that because I felt like that for decades. So when you get to that point where you said enough is enough, like, don't suffer in silence, you know? So for me, it was saying, Dex, stop suffering in silence.
That's big, man. It seems like that's also the common theme, especially with men on here. It's like it takes for us to get to a point where we're like right there about to end it or thinking about ending it. And that's the rock bottom. And that's like, it's very sad, but also shows strength and courage. And for you to bounce back, like, I know I'm speaking for Corey here. We're glad you didn't. So, and there's an entire group of people out there that are happy you didn't. And so just keep pushing. And like, thank you for sharing such a beautiful story. And thank you for sharing just your passion, brother. Like, it takes a lot of courage just to share your passion. And so like, I appreciate it. Like, I didn't know, like, I kind of like, I'm going to look at birds a little bit differently. I'm not going to front. Like, I'm really going to look at birds differently. And like, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. And it's like, I'm excited to checking out that marsh with your nephew. So it's like,
you'll love it.
Oh yeah, I know. Like, so that'll be fun. Before you go, can you share all your social media, where people can find you? Yeah. Things of that nature.
You can just find me at Wisco Birder. I spend most of my time on Instagram. I've been spending more time on TikTok lately. Also on Blue Sky. So Wisco Birder. If you're on Facebook, I have a private Facebook group for the Birding Club, BIPOC Birding Club of Wisconsin. Like I said, check out the website, BIPOCbirdingclub.org. We always got something going on. So, man, come meet me in the wild.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I like that. That does get you hyped. Let's go. So, all right, man. You control you. We out. Peace. Oh, so beautiful.
Shit, I'm about to go wait in this place when you dropping the bass in the beat inside the streets of awaken. I'm making to break my foot off of somebody's ass. I'm waiting for someone to say my name so I can annihilate them. Okay, then everyone was screaming the rape when I was kicking at the gate till it caved in, belly scraping by. But now I'm paid. Look at the paper I raked and I'm caking like Jay-Z and Drake. And I hate when people say that I ain't killing shit. The game is my playpen. I punch you in the face and end up breaking your break bands. I'm far from Hollywood. I'm posted up at the days in. Even though the industry say I'm the latest sensation. Drop the song at the award show. Becoming complacent. Mama saw me on TV with just a bum in the basement. You a Captain Saber, ho. You just be tucking the cake in. I fuck your baby mama in the ass with the bacon.